walk into this room at your own risk. Because it leads to the future. Not a future that will be, but one that might be. This is not a new world. It is simply an extension of what began in the old one. It has patterned itself after every dictator who has ever planted the ripping imprint of a boot on the pages of history since the beginning of time. It has refinements, technological advances, and a more sophisticated approach to the destruction of human freedom. But like every one of the superstates that preceded it, it has one iron rule. Logic is an enemy and truth is a menace. Any state, any entity, any ideology that fails to recognize the worth, the dignity, the rights of man, that state is obsolete. A case to be filed under M for Mankind in the Twilight Zone.
Hello, crazy people of the internet. You're listening to St. Kirill again on another podcast in which I bitch about something. Darn it, does that count as explicit content? No. It doesn't, because if they can say it on Family Guy, I can say it. But hey, it's currently 4:35 on a Monday morning, and it only is so because I haven't slept. But it's October 3rd, and it is a lovely 57 degrees, spotty rain showers, and I am loving this. Undoubtedly my favorite time of year. I love autumn and winter and of course spring. No, spring, it fills the soul with a sense of renewal to watch the world around you awaken from a winter slumber. And that's exactly what I wish to see happen to people. You see, because we evolve. The concept of evolution is a brilliant one. The concept of evolution dictates that when we adapt to the changes in our environment, it's easy to fall into a thought process of hearing the term evolution. And we immediately begin to think of physical changes in the bodies of animals, such as developing the ability to emerge from water and walking on land, or the neck of giraffes becoming longer over time so they can reach the high leaves. But what we must do is evolve our minds as well as our bodies. When you take a hard look at the world around you, you are witnessing all the stimuli that is supposed to be the call to action. What you are seeing, all the things that are supposed to awaken you to become the change you wish to see in the world. You must realize that your place on this planet is not and has never been limited to the abuses you've endured. So what I'm saying there is essentially that you have endured the abuses. These were designed to be a tool of awakening, but rather what most of us do is we cave to those abuses. We cave to the effects of being abused. And so we lose our way. And we're also poisoned daily, too. Just research fluoride and see what it has to say. But as I say, you need to know these abuses were designed to put you in and keep you locked in this tiny box. Excuse me. It's entirely up to you to rid yourself of the anchors in life that keep you from becoming the one true light that illuminates a path to a pure existence of perfect happiness. Even more, you must evolve beyond the ramifications of choosing to live as a free people. Right now in this country, it has become illegal to become a non-consumer. Here are some examples. I'll just read to you as I found it on the internet. Oh, of course, it's got to be true. But no, this has actually been broadcast by mainstream media, to which, you know, I have issues with mainstream media. But in Florida, this woman, Robin Spironis, I'll read exactly the quote here from that news story. Special Magistrate Harold Eskin ruled that Robin Spironis is not allowed to live on her own private property without being hooked up to the city's water system. Back in November of 2013, a code enforcement officer attempted to evict her for, quote, living without utilities. Living without utilities. Now, let's just consider the fact, that technically these utilities, such as electricity and water, have not been around that long. When you consider, here in the United States, when you consider, you're looking at what, just a little over a couple hundred years. And it was living without those utilities that, supposedly founded this country in the first place. Not just this country, but countries whose history expands, in the thousands and thousands of years. People lived without running water. So why should you be evicted for not having water run to your house? Living without utilities. Number two, a veteran in Alabama who lives off the grid, who said, quote, we live out here off the grid, 100% self-sustaining. His last name's Truitt. So I basically made all my utilities. I have my solar power panels. I have my rainwater collection and stuff. They were booted from their property because they were living off the grid. There's also some debate about that as well, that they were living in a trailer, a mobile home, within city limits, which apparently is a no-no. But hey, you got to keep that image up, right? And this, I'm not. Number three, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly. It's Costilla, Costilla County, Colorado. Now, I love this one. I love this one. Has been particularly enticing to off-gridders because of its lax zoning laws. But now, the livelihoods of an estimated 800 residents are being threatened as officials refuse to renew backyard camping permits. Yes, backyard camping permits. Yeah, this kind of blew me away because when I started to do the research for this episode, I did not expect to find, a place that restricted your camping and your freedom so much that you have to apply and apparently purchase a permit to camp in your own backyard. By law, citizens are required to obtain a 90-day permit to camp in their backyards. Otherwise, they are only allowed to camp for 14 days per every 3 months. Costilla County, Colorado. If you don't buy this permit, if you don't get this permit, you're only allowed 2 weeks of camping every 3 months in your own backyard. You see these commercials where these kids are making s'mores out back. These classic homegrown that may not indicate a total takeover of common sense by the government. Oh, they're not taking over common sense. How can they take over something they have no concept of at all? But when you begin restricting backyard camping, you are encroaching on crossing the line between freedom and fascism. But the answer lies on the American dollar. Novus Ordo Seclorum, a new order of the ages, and this new order, this new world order, as it comes, has been in the making for a long time. A long time. It may be imperative that we begin to take a stand against corporate America, my friends, if it isn't already too late. And again, I like to point out a lot, and my wife's really tired of hearing this because, I'm a conspiracy theorist nut. I mean, to a degree, she loves me, no. She completely loves me, but to a degree, she is correct. I am a conspiracy theorist, especially when you have the intelligence to take a look around and see that these conspiracy theories are, in fact, becoming conspiracy fact. But among the things that I talk about are messages in certain media. For example, the Matrix. You don't have to dig too deep into the Matrix to know that the message about fighting the machine, fighting the system is there. Same with Cloud Atlas, Fahrenheit 451, um, and Grape Sarath, and so many works. And currently, as movies, as popular as they are, you can go watch a movie, but if you have the intelligence and you have the ability, well, that's just it. We all have the intelligence. We just have been programmed to think we don't. You'll see evidence of these messages that are coming to you from the media. I want you to listen to a quote from the movie Oblivion with Tom Cruise and Morgan Freeman, who is a major um, member of the Awakeners. I guess I can dub them. There are a few actors whose roles are not, whose roles put them in a position to convey. But anyway, take a listen to this. I love this quote.
And how can a man die better than facing fearful odds for the ashes of his fathers and the temples of his gods? I've been watching you, Jack. You're curious. What are you looking for in those books?